You've been told for over 25 years that Otis Hawkins, the man you believe to be your father, was dead.
Yes, ma'am.
But he's alive.
Everyone's jaw must have dropped like the ma'am in this clip. Except for Jesus Christ, the Son of God, and Mary, no other man can come back to life after he's been pronounced dead and buried. It's either someone lied about Mr. Hawkins' death, or Mr. Hawkins left the country without notifying anyone that could help spread the message.
Miss Cayce, you say that for more than 25 years, your mother has told you that a deceased man who is listed on your birth certificate is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's a lot of things going on here. From Miss Cayce, Miss Ewing, Mr. Edwards to Mr. Hawkins, this case is about to be a very serious and interesting one. Miss Cayce is the one looking for her biological father, but there are a few potential fathers not only in the mix, but present in paternity court. Miss Cayce's mother has got some real explanation to do.
Not knowing where I came from, I built a bond with Otis Hawkins, who's on my birth certificate, even though he's not ever been in my life. I do not know what the man looked like. I don't have a picture of him. I don't have anything about him, but he is on my birth certificate.
Miss Cayce says she had to grow up without a father, with the thought of her real father being dead, according to what her mother, Ms. Ewing, had told her. Miss Cayce says it's something that affected her, and that made her avoid repeating the cycle, as her children know who their father is.
It hurts me to find out that's how she feels. If I would have knew that that's what she needed, I would have did my best to help her, but I did not know.
Roll your eyes like you don't believe your mother.
It's not that I don't believe her. She has 9 children. My other siblings had their father in their life.
9 children? That's not a bad thing anyway, as long as all of the 9 kids are well fed, trained, and educated. Well, Ms. Cayce says all the other kids who were her step-siblings knew who their fathers were, but unfortunately, she didn't get the same opportunity, and that made things more for her while growing up. Ms. Ewing claimed she didn't know Ms. Cayce went through that. How's that possible for Ms. Ewing not to know what her daughter was going through? Judging by the number of kids in the family, maybe that's possible.
Cousin to see did she want to spend time with LaConda, and she informed me then that he had been shot in the head by his brother and he was deceased. LaConda was 7 years old when I was told that. I didn't want to tell her until she got older. I didn't know how to tell her, and I'm telling you exactly what I was told.
That's a tragic way for someone's life to end. Ms. Ewing narrated how Mr. Hawkins, who she believes is Ms. Cayce's biological father, was taken out. However, Ms. Cayce mentioned she heard that when Ms. Cayce was 7 years old, Ms. Ewing had from birth till she was 7 to introduce her supposed father to her, but okay.
That Mr. Edwards could possibly be your father.
Mr. Edwards had inboxed me, and we had spoke. I had spoke with his youngest child, and he was like, "You sound like me." I seen a picture of you and my dad in St. Louis with my sister.
Ms. Cayce got a message from her other potential father on social media. Mr. Edwards sounds like he desperately needs Ms. Cayce to be one of his kids with Ms. Ewing. Mr. Edwards and Ms. Ewing's copulation led to Ms. Cayce's older sister, so maybe Ms. Cayce may have just been the result of another sexual intimacy they had.
Why are you so convinced that you're her father?
She looks so much like my family. She's got everything that my mom had. And my youngest daughter, I mean, if you look at her and look at her, you would do.
They look very similar,
yes.
Say.
Mr. Edwards is convinced Ms. Cayce is another one of his daughters since Ms. Cayce looks so much like one of his 6 daughters. On the other hand, Ms. Cayce doesn't feel the same way. Ms. Cayce claims she didn't feel the bond between a father and daughter when they met. Maybe there's a wall blocking that, or maybe it's just true Mr. Edwards isn't Ms. Cayce's biological father.
Me and my husband sat down and we did a research. I got on a social network. I found Otis Hawkins, but they have gave me 2 addresses and 3 phone numbers. At that present time, I contacted the 3 numbers that I had for him. They was all disconnected.
Ms. Cayce tried to search for Mr. Hawkins in hopes of connecting with her biological father her mother had told her about, but it was an unsuccessful search as she couldn't get the answers she went looking for. Ms. Cayce wants to have a word with Mr. Hawkins so badly. Let's see how that goes.
You lose contact with your baby girl.
After a couple of years, I moved back to Mississippi. The last time I saw her when Ginger brought her over to the house, I didn't see her no more after that. I don't know, she said she tried the cell phone. Everybody got away from house phone. The number they had was house phone.
Mr. Hawkins shows up in paternity court holding Ms. Cayce's photo in his hands, saying has always kept that since forever, hoping for their reunion someday. Mr. Hawkins says the mode of communication back then was the reason he lost communication with his dear daughter. This is an interesting paternity case, but let's get to the DNA test result.
Mr. Edwards, you are not her father. Mr. Hawkins, you are not her father.
It has has been proven again and again that men would say anything to get their way in between a woman's legs, but after the deed has been done, everything said and done immediately goes in the trash. But Ms. Haysbert didn't seem to know about that, and here we are in paternity court.
Ms. Haysbert, you are suing the father of your 6-month-old son for a paternity test. You claim the defendant, Mr. Howard, has never financially supported baby Ricardo Jr.
Yeah.
Ms. Haysbert claims she was promised marriage and she was even engaged to Mr. Howard, but the plan fell through after she got pregnant, and to make matters worse, Mr. Howard got another woman engaged and pregnant too. Man must be working overtime. Anyway, Mr. Howard, the complete opposite happened, and he's countersuing Ms. Haysbert for pawning off the engagement ring, which was like an heirloom in his family because it belonged to his grandmother. Grandma must be wondering what's happening and how that got missing.
Washington Redskins Stadium, when we used to work together.
1 second, let's use respectful language.
We were co-workers, and then after that we became friends. Like, we used to chill with each other outside of work. It was to the point, like, when something was wrong, he came to me.
It's barely 3 minutes and things are already getting heated. Ms. Haysbert claimed she knew Mr. Howard had a girlfriend, but there's stories about miscarriage, breakup, and everything in between, and that made her feel like she had a chance. There's also the part where Mr. Howard was initially happy about Ms. Haysbert's pregnancy with his lottery reference before things went south. Mr. Howard denies all of these allegations, though.
We were dating, and we were pregnant around the same time. So she was asking,
Really?
Yes, pregnant around the same time. His daughter was born December 27th.
This is a good moment that I think I want to hear from Mr. Howard.
Oh wow. Mr. Howard finally agreed to doing one thing, and that getting 2 women pregnant at the same time. One may think they didn't hear Mr. Howard right, as he pulls the excuse of he didn't mean to get 2 women pregnant at the same time. What do you think was going to happen while constantly having sexual intimacy with 2 women? A surprise Christmas in the middle of summer?
That you slept with her, so it was obviously something about
You
her
wanted
that
this,
liked.
so what are you saying?
I ain't put no gun in your head. I ain't put no gun in your head.
You found out she was pregnant?
Yes.
When? How? Did she told you? She called you?
Yeah, she said, I'm pregnant.
Okay, Mr. Howard isn't trying to deny Ms. Haysbert's child as he is ready to face the consequence of his actions, but Mr. Howard just wants a DNA test to be sure the baby is really his. That's fair considering there may be other potential fathers that we don't know about just yet.
Potentially be someone else's child
She
as
was
well?
bouncing around.
I wasn't bouncing, I was only with you. That's you. You were sleeping with me and Kiana at the same time. You had to lie and say that you weren't with her in order for you to even talk to me.
Mr. Howard claimed Ms. Haysbert was bouncing around prior to the pregnancy, and that made him start having doubts about the paternity. Ms. Haysbert says that's a lie, and Mr. Howard was the one that couldn't move on from his ex-girlfriend and was playing both sides of the fence.
Mr. Howard contends that once you told him you were pregnant, he asked you for a DNA test.
No, he didn't. He was happy because when I found out I was pregnant, first I took a home pregnancy test.
Okay.
And I sent him the picture of the result. After that...
And you say he was happy about it?
Yes.
These two look like a match made from heaven with a bit of vocal cords striking a nerve in everyone's ears. Whew! Ms. Haysbert reiterated Mr. Howard being happy about the pregnancy at first, but switched up on her when it was time to step up the plate and be responsible for his actions. Ms. Haysbert said what Mr. Howard brought for her son was hand-me-downs, but again, Mr. Howard said that's a lie. Only the Lord knows who's lying between these two at this point.
That's because I was, I didn't give you nothing. You stole it.
You stole it.
You was a liar. You was a liar in this courtroom. Whatever, that's all you doing is lying in this courtroom.
Stole the ring? How does one steal an heirloom that is supposed to be sacred? How did she even know about it, Mr. Howard? That aside, these two texting is a mess. From one party acknowledging the child and sending virtual kisses to the other party saying the child is gone. This is even beyond messy. These two have no business procreating at all.
Were you guys on a break or were you together? Explain to the court what is going on.
Yes, we had broke up one time, but when we broke up, it was a week, so I really don't call that as a broke up. For one, she knew we was in a relationship.
From hearing about a 1-week breakup to Ms. Haysbert being categorized as a best friend that transformed into a side chick and every other messy information, it's safe to say it's a madhouse in there. Mr. Howard also claimed Ms. Haysbert has previously mentioned he isn't the father of her child. Let's find out if he is the father or Ms. Haysbert knew what she was saying.
Mr. Howard, you are the father.
We know, Deborah, I don't sleep with everybody like Deborah do.
It's sad enough when a father isn't sure if he's the biological father of a child who he's being led to believe he is the father, but it's extra complicated when the mother who gave birth to the child also doesn't know who exactly is the father of her own child. Either it was a genuine mismatch or a messy misunderstanding. That kind of mistake doesn't go away easily.
Ms. Grier, you are the mother of 1-year-old Lanaya. You say you regret cheating on the defendant, Mr. Thompson, as an act of revenge to hurt him.
Yes, sir.
Because of the mistake you made, you now claim you have no clue who fathered your child.
Ms. Mrs. Grier is in paternity court as confused as Mr. Thompson, who doesn't know if he's the father of Ms. Grier's child. Mama Grier claimed she wanted to have a sweet revenge on Mr. Thompson, but unfortunately, it didn't go as planned for Ms. Grier, as a child is already involved. Mr. Thompson is more confused as to why Ms. Grier didn't say anything about her mistake until so much time had passed.
6 months to tell Mr. Thompson he may not be your child's father.
I found out that he cheated on me, and I wanted to get revenge, and I met this man on a dating website.
Mrs. Grier couldn't really stomach the truth about Mr. Thompson cheating on her, and just like some other women, she decided to hurt him back the same way he did to her. Little did Ms. Grier know it's not the same thing for men and women in the infidelity game. Ms. Grier cheated back with a man she barely knew, and now there's more than one potential father for her child.
All this time, find out she's pregnant, you had no idea she had slept with somebody else even though you cheated?
No.
You knew nothing?
No, I never knew she cheated. She never told me anything.
You were there for the birth, Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson didn't have any idea his woman had been knocked up by another man. Mr. Thompson played a responsible man's role as he was present throughout the pregnancy and even during the birth of the baby. Cut the umbilical cord, and the photo shows his exhausted self beside Ms. Grier the day the child was born.
She moved in with me and my family.
Oh, so after you left the hospital, you and baby Lanaya moved in with him and his family?
Yes, because I didn't have nobody I didn't have no family.
Oh, Mr. Thompson moved Ms. Grier in with his family after the birth of the baby. The story gets more emotional hearing. Ms. Grier didn't have anybody to call her family they could help her, due to her being raised in the system. Mrs. Grier says she tries for her child. That's something every mother and father should do as parents, to be fair.
Posted it on Facebook about that the baby's not mine, that it can be 2 other people I guess she was sleeping with.
Wait, her family member posted this on Facebook?
On my page.
On your page?
Mrs. Grier's family member thought Ms. Grier's just said she had no one? Guess a family member doing something like that is the reason Ms. Grier said she had no family, because a good family member wouldn't do that. Anyway, Ms. Grier claimed her reason for waiting so long to tell Mr. Thompson was because she didn't want to ruin what they had. That's understandable. Not everything can be kept hidden forever.
To you to not know whether or not you really are the biological father.
Well, it hurts me a lot because I really want to be her father, because I've been taking care of her finna be 2 years.
Mr. Thompson has to be one of the most responsible fathers we have witnessed on paternity court. Taking care of the baby full-time amidst all of these is commendable. That man loves that girl to the moon and back, and he's been proving it even before the baby was born. It's not certain this man would function properly if the result comes back negative.
You have had a relationship, a sexual relationship, or what type of relationship have you had with Ms. Grier?
Let me start from the beginning when I first met her.
Okay.
It all started when I met her on the website.
Mr. Tolles seems to remember so much detail, but as Judge Lauren said, we don't need to hear all of that. Mr. Tolles claimed they had used protection at first, but subsequent rounds, they didn't use protection. Well, that's enough to make him a potential father of it was around the window of conception.
Okay, a few weeks after that, I found out she was pregnant. She told me she was pregnant. I asked her, was it mine? She said no, it was her boyfriend, Thompson, which I did not know she had a boyfriend.
A compulsive liar, it is Mr. Tolles. Judging by all these lies Ms. Grier had told Mr. Tolles, that tag isn't so bad on her. Mr. Tolles is confused, and so is Mr. Thompson. These two men don't know if it's either of them that truly fathered Ms. Grier's child. From cheating just to get revenge to a child's paternity being questioned, it's high time we get it over with.
It has been determined by this court that her biological father is Mr. Thompson.
Men always tend to have different tricks up their sleeves, and it's left to the women to buckle up to avoid being caught up in a man's web of lies. Women can be deceiving too, but one party suffers the consequences more than the other.
Ms. Murphy, you claim you had a short, passionate relationship with the defendant, Mr. Miles, and then you became pregnant.
Yes, sir.
Now you say he's married and wants to forget he has a 3-year-old son.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Murphy says there was a brief, passionate moment between her and Mr. Miles, which led to a now 3-year-old child. But Mr. Miles is married now, and he's trying to put it all in the past. However, Mr. Miles said he knows he's not the father of the child, as there have been talks about other potential fathers.
Your Honor, this man has not done anything for my son. I can count on one hand how many times he's ever even came to visit his son. On top of that, he refers to my son as the boy.
How How's the boy? Shouldn't even be said to one's friend's child, not to mention one's potential son. Mr. Miles could engage in sexual activities, but doesn't want to take responsibility for his actions. Some men really do try to get away from any sort of responsibility.
Well, Your Honor, first and foremost, I never said that I didn't want to do things for him. I just was under the impression that it was not my son due to the fact of stuff that was told to me by family members. You know, she would tell me one minute she's pregnant by me.
Ms. Murphy having hickeys on the neck and saying someone tried to molest her may be true or not, but that's not enough reason for Mr. Miles to be acting the way he's doing. If Mr. Miles was so doubtful of paternity, he could have done a DNA test since the birth of the child. But no, he rather allowed it to linger on for years.
To say it was a relationship, I couldn't say that. I could say it was more of we were cool, we were friends, you know. I wouldn't say it was a relationship.
Were you both committed to one another?
I couldn't even say that, Your Honor.
Mr. Miles was getting down with one of Ms. Murphy's family members, and he's trying to act like it's nothing. Yeah, he said Ms. Murphy knew, but he's not dumb too. He could have stayed loyal to the family member and not moved to Ms. Murphy or have anything to do with her. It takes two to tango, Mr. Miles.
Besides, about the family part, I never knew that he was dealing with any of my family. That's ridiculous.
Were you dating, seeing Mr. Miles exclusively? Were you all in an open relationship?
Ms. Murphy says she didn't even know prior Mr. Miles had been intimate with her family member, which takes us back to Mr. Miles being the villain. Mr. Miles claims there's a chance the baby might be his, and otherwise with an addition of, he would do what needs to be done. Well, from the look of things, Mr. Miles may be present in court again soon, since he's had a thing with the whole of Fresno ladies.
Piece of evidence besides these hickeys.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
okay.
So move forward from that.
My evidence is this, okay? Every male and female know what sex smells like. She came over to my house smelling like she had sex with somebody. You can tell she was potent.
Sorry, what smell now? She was potent? Seems like Mr. Miles is talking about some type of black magic concerning potency. Mr. Miles' evidence doesn't sound convincing. Even a teenager wouldn't pay attention to what this man is saying. Going on and on about she got around a lot, hickeys, wearing skimpy clothes. Ooh, there has to be something better to claim there's another potential father.
If Miss Murphy would have thought that was her son, Kiva would have told me before we even got together.
Not necessarily.
Like he told me about his other baby mamas. I know about them before we got together.
Mr. Miles' wife is tripping, thinking one of her husband's baby mama is supposed to be the one to come look for her to let her in on her son's life. That sounds unreasonable. It's in none of the ladies' hands to bring up the situation to one another since the perpetrator is alive and doing fine. If Ms. Miles' husband couldn't have a bedtime conversation with her to let her in on the situation, how's it Ms. Murphy's business to do that in his place? Oh, please.
I've been with Tanisha since Corey was 2 months. I'm his dad, no doubt about it. Like, I'm not biologically, but you know, like, everything this boy knows. Everything he know, I teach him. He got favorite colors. His favorite color is my favorite color.
Ms. Murphy's partner seems to be doing a better job at being the child's father than Mr. Miles could ever do. It's nice to see at least someone being responsible, and the icing on the cake is Ms. Murphy's partner says it doesn't matter who the biological father is because he's always going to be his daddy. Let's get the result.
Mr. Kiva, Miles, you are his father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The way people end up having passionate relationships outside of their marriage and act like it's nothing serious needs to be explained in technical terms. Men often claim they can go around having intimate sessions with other women without their feelings being tampered with, but claim it's different for women as they get carried away emotionally in the process. Let's find out how that works in this case.
Ms. Moore, you say there is only one reason the defendant, Mr. Butler, has doubts he fathered your 1-year-old daughter, and that's because of his manipulating wife.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Moore claims to have a baby with Mr. Butler, and the only reason Mr. Butler is denying paternity is because of his manipulative wife. Mr. Butler says he isn't Ms. Moore's baby daddy and she's just trying to force herself to be in his life.
Mr. Butler been involved in your child's life in any way?
If you're talking about diapers and wipes, that's it. That's not a father to me at all, period.
Only diapers and wipes?
That's it.
Buying wipes and diapers should count as something, but then again, that's nothing in terms of being a responsible father to a child. Mr. Butler said that his doubts stem from the time Ms. Moore told him he's not the baby daddy. Ms. Moore argued that she only said that one time because she was getting harassed, but Mr. Butler and his supposed wife...
It's happened because she told me I'm not the dad, she told me I'm not the father.
Why would she tell you that?
The baby don't even look like me.
Now, your wife jumping out of her chair, I guess she knows the story better than you do, which
she always
most
got
wives
something to say.
do, huh?
Harassment seems far-fetched, Ms. Moore. Mr. Butler's wife did look like he was going to move from the chair she was sitting on to throw some punches at Ms. Moore, though. Anyway, Mr. Butler's wife claimed she has overheard Ms. Moore saying Mr. Butler isn't the father of her child on several occasions, but Ms. Moore says it was just a one-time thing.
Evidence that's been presented says from Miss Carter, my husband do a good job keeping me and his baby.
Exactly, because he stepped up. He stepped up, and my daughter is going to call him dad. He stepped up. Quincy's not around.
Clock that, Ms. Moore. Mr. Butler's wife is here in paternity court defending her cheating husband and yelling like she was in the room with them during the activity and without enough evidence, too. Mr. Butler's wife talking about conception dates so boldly like she was the one that conceived the baby.
Was Quincy anywhere to be around?
No.
No.
You didn't tell me.
When he came with bags. When Quincy always come with bags. That's just like the beginning of this month. Quincy came with bags.
When you say he came with bags, what does that mean?
When Quincy come with bags, he thinks he's about to stay. He's a leech.
So, these two women are even raising their voices over a leech? Wow. Okay, Mr. Butler's wife wants to be involved in this whole situation so bad, and that just makes Ms. Moore's statement make sense. If Mr. Butler's wife wants to be involved so much, she can just pay the child support for her husband when we find out he's the biological father then. That solves it.
I called him and I said, you know, my daughter is pregnant. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, she's pregnant. And he says, well, I'm gonna be there for her. I'm gonna take care of her. I'm gonna take care of the baby. All of a sudden,
no, Your Honor.
There is no Quincy in sight no more.
Mr. Butler says another dude is all he could tender for evidence that there might be another potential father, which is making him doubt paternity. But what does another dude even mean? According to Ms. Moore's mother, Mr. Butler said he was going to be there for her, but when the time came, he vanished into thin air.
The reason there's another doubt is this picture.
Jerome, will you pass me that evidence, please?
Oh, that's me and my fiance. Like I told you,
okay.
He stepped up.
This is the same man that
went to every doctor's appointment.
That looks just like
went
him.
To every doctor. No, you a liar.
Ms. Butler's wife seems to not want the baby to belong to her husband more than her husband does. Mr. Butler's wife thinks another man owns the baby because of the photo and birth certificate they hadn't seen, but Ms. Moore knocked her out of the park in a second with her fiance's claim and the father's name being blank on the birth certificate.
War because I felt like she's using up Mike Zamora as a pawn tool to get back with me, because truthfully she's unfit and she's she's using me as a bait tool. Like she's wanting my money, all type of stuff, Your Honor.
Mr. Butler still maintains that Ms. Moore has been using her daughter to her back in his life. That doesn't seem plausible seeing how Ms. Moore has been talking about her fiancé. Maybe Mr. Butler is being delusional or he's right. Let's find out.
Mr. Butler, you are her father.